What is up, monsters? Real Monsters here, and welcome back to another video. Today we're hopping back into the Innsmouth case. So it has been a little bit since I played, but don't think that I didn't want to play. I've been busy with all the other games that happen to come out and everything at the same time. But since it is October and this is a more horror-driven type of story-based game, I did want to try and push this a little more for this, so we will see. I guess I will try and read until my eyes hurt. Let's go. Alright, and start. Innsmouth Town Square, the beating heart of the city. A big attraction for local tourism, it is animated by groups of visitors who are chatting away in the sun. A lot less animated are the lethargic locals who are lurching about the square. A rather creepy looking fountain in the middle of the square. A gigantic fish-like stone statue stretches its claws towards the sky with water flowing from its menacing jaws. The water sprays into the air, providing a refreshing breeze to the tourists sitting around the edge of the fountain. Looking at it closely now, it all rather looks like a giant drooling fish monster. The square is surrounded by handsome old buildings, although the side streets reveal the true Innsmouth. Crumbling facades, just far enough, just far enough away from the average tourist, it doesn't notice them immediately. Okay. You also notice the mean grimaces of the gargoyles sternly looking down onto the visitors from the corners of the buildings. You make a mental note to block out the Innsmouth architecture in the future. At first glance, you see the town hall and a police station behind the fountain. There should be a few more public facilities nearby, but you don't notice anything right away. Let's scope out the surroundings. The alleys. The town center is dilapidated, and it seems to be completely dead. None of the footpaths are maintained, and weeds have worked their way into every crevice. You notice carelessly dumped fast food packages, beer bottles, and other trash. Some of the narrow side streets between the houses are also crammed with bulky trash, and you wouldn't be able to walk along them. Many of the houses are in poor states of repair, cracked windows, loose wooden boards hanging off the walls, and doors nailed shut. It's impossible to tell in which color the houses were originally painted. You are struck by bad stench several times, the cause of which you would rather not investigate. As you keep walking, you get a kind of shopping street with a number of small shops. Half of them seem abandoned. The first shop on the corner is a snack bar. Its name, Joe's Pizza and Burger, is printed in big letters on individual sheets of paper. Right next to it is a shop for fish gear, then a hairdresser just a few doors down. In that shop window, you can see faded photos of the trendiest haircuts that the 1970s had to offer. Behind the hairdresser, you can make out the kiosk selling sweets and magazines, and also a liquor store wedged in between two empty buildings. Opposite, you find a store whose name seems to be Zan. Judging by the window, it's a music store. At the end of the street, there's a building with the inscription Arc Am Ad Cad S. The letters are made out from neon tubes, but some of them may have burned out and have never been replaced. Maybe some of the shopkeepers will be able to tell you more about your client. Let's Continue to the arcades. Oh, yeah, that totally makes sense there. It says arcade. Yeah, alright. Let's try the barbershop. Everybody talks in a barbershop, don't they? As you approach the barbershop, you first wonder if it is permanently closed. What you initially thought was a reflection of light is actually dirt. Are there no hygiene inspectors in this town? You hesitate about whether to enter or not. Yeah, let's just enter. The chime of the doorbell is the only greeting as you step through the door. The shop seems abandoned, and a thick layer of dust has settled on the chairs and upright hair dryers. A line pattern adorns the wash basins and the floor. Wait, what? A lime pattern? Like, are they talking like lime the color? Or lime as in like algae shit? Interesting. Okay. Looks like some water damage. Okay. That no one cared about enough to sort out. Okay, that's exact. Okay. I should have just kept reading because it clearly just answered my question right there. Just as you begin to wonder why the store was open at all, you hear it. A peaceful snore. It seems that someone, look behind the counter. Careful not to lean on the dusty counter, you try to make out the source of the snoring. In a rather uncomfortable, twisted position, a man in his 60s is lying on the ground with his head propped up on a shelf. Has he fallen off his chair? Has he injured himself? The man opens his eyes and you quickly dart back, but you're sure that he's spotted you already. A hand slams on the counter, and soon the gentleman attached to the hand gets up with the embarrassment of a gentleman who has fallen asleep during a gala dinner. The shopkeeper adjusts glasses and hair. He stares at you in disbelief. Who do you want? You're actually not that interested in what's happened here, so you get straight to the point. You get out the Polaroid. I'm looking for a missing girl, Tabitha Marsh. The man glances at the picture, then at you. His right eye starts twitching uncontrollably, and he hisses at you. What do you want from me? Maybe this isn't a good time. Oh dear, is that the time? It was a mistake to come here. You rush out of the barbershop and nearly slip on a few ancient cans of hairspray. Slightly irritated by the strange man's behavior, you're back on the shopping street. You're lucky he didn't follow you out. Let's go to Joe's Pizza. When you enter the snack bar, you are struck by the unappetizing smell of fat. Behind the counter is a gaunt teenager who looks like he is bored out of his mind. A name tag identifies him as Chud. Chud is wearing a stained white apron and splashes with fat and other substances. His face is haunted by the most gruesome acne you've ever seen. He turns to you and stares at a spot somewhere on the wall behind you. What do you want to order? Do school kids ever come by here? Chet is obviously not interested in the conversation. That is a really strange question. Do you know this girl? You're holding up a photo of Tabitha up to Chad. She's gone missing and I'm here looking for her. He looks at the picture with indifference. Are you going to order anything or not? Let's bribe him with a tip. Alright. You pull out a $20 bill from your wallet and wave it around. As for your tip, you show him the photo again. Maybe you can add a little more service? Chud finally shows some motivation, but his eyes are more on the bill than on the photo. Let's see it again. At that age, maybe they know her at the arcades. Okay, that's where the kids are mostly these days. You put the bill on the counter. You leave Joe's Pizza and Burger. Thanks, buddy. Let's go to the arcades. The arcades. The arcades. The game's arcade. It's hard to miss. At the end of the dead shopping street, a shrill neon sign draws attention to itself. You think it looks rather retro, although the people from the Innsmouth will probably think it's state-of-the-art design. As you approach, familiar sounds start ringing in your ears. A heady mix of cheaply produced gun sound effects and mysterious sounds from pinball machines. Okay. The cocktail of synth effects gives you a jolt of nostalgia. Because it would to me. I never really went to arcades growing up, but I did learn of an arcade once I started getting older, and the arcade is awesome. And then they put up an arcade like the next town over. When I high school, just after high school, they put an arcade like the next town over. It was pretty dope. I was very excited. It was right before I left for the military, and we used to go there a good amount of times. It was nice. Happy memories flood your brain. Your first beat 'em up game when your opponent, a super limber yoga dude who played the boxer, ripped you apart. All those exciting moments when you managed to win. A few tourist families who have ventured into the city center with you were all dragged in here by their excited children. Now you too pass through the gates to the realm of flashing lights and bad ventilation. It's extremely dark, and the screens of the devices appear to be the only light source. Families, slackers, groups of teenagers, and individual children crowd together in front of screens to catch a glimpse of the games that are currently being played or to have a shot at playing themselves. The arcade is smaller than the elaborate archway initially suggested, but the equipment is not so bad for a small coastal town. Alright, everything is beeping and flashing. Let's look for the girl. I'm here on a mission. Alright, so no matter how tempting it may be, you don't have time to enjoy yourself now. Tabitha might be one of the children running around here. Your gaze passes over rows of young players. But like a moth drawn to the light, your attention is pulled in again and again by machines. Your resolve crumbles. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. No one will mind if you play for a few minutes. Wait, what? This is not what I chose. One of the most important lessons you have learned, not from your own cases, but from television, is to look out for the small things. Only an absolute beginner would ignore the slot machines and look for the missing girl straight away. You, on the other hand, are playing the long game. Maybe you'll see her name token on one of the high score tables. Maybe you'll be able to improve your own reflexes, toughen yourself to steer your nerves by playing a few rounds. A little girl is missing, but you'd rather play a round of computer games. But don't worry, no one will ever find out. How often will you return to Innsmouth, you ask yourself? The answer, of course, is hopefully never again. So you might as well make the most of it and try to leave new high score for posterity. No! Man. Well, I suck at first-person shooters. That's a common thing. I'm not bad at pinball. Retro game machines. I think I'd be a little more specific. Are we talking like... Man, are we talking like Galaga or like... Alright, whatever. Let's just go for the classic old pinball. On one of the walls, there's a row of pinball machines. Curiously, no one is playing or even looking in that direction of the machines. It's as if there's an invisible barrier that you have to cross to get into the area. Not even the unlicensed 80s movie themes seem to be of interest to anyone. Perhaps it's not so surprising after all. Who would try to chase after a real metal ball if they can hunt down virtual demon zombies? Oh, Castlevania! I totally forgot. Man, I could have played Castlevania. Damn it. Ah, man. The good thing about pinball machines is that they're cheap. You only need a few coins and you don't have to queue. Out of the 3 machines available, you go to the one with the vaguely recognizable but definitely not licensed science fiction theme. The machine's barren spell has finally come to an end. You put in a quarter and it rumbles awake, as if from a deep slumber. It lights up and the pinball shoots out from the bottom right corner onto the playing area and starts jumping between the bumpers. This is great. You have forgotten about how cool reality can be. Using the 2 buttons on the side of the machine, you can move the flippers. Considered and focused. I'm very focused, although sometimes I hit them both at the same time, just in case. But flies into the upper regions of the machine, bounces on the bumpers, and lands on one of the higher up flippers, where you manage to hold it. Your fingers frantically jab at the buttons, and the flippers go up and down when the ball slowly rolls down the shaft onto the side, closer and closer to the void. You start screaming. It's pure adrenaline. The frantic flippers manage to lift the ball up a fraction, but then you drop it right down into the middle. You've lost before the game has even properly started. The machine flashes and beeps, almost as if it were laughing at you. Now you know why no one else was playing the pinball machines. You step back to put some distance between you and the hellish machine. Oh, that was weird. Ah, man. Sorry. Never mind. Anyway, you step back to put some distance between you and the hellish machine. You still have 2 games left over, but you'd be happy for someone else to suffer through them. You decide to go back to the center of the arcade. None of those. Ridiculous. Even an ancient C64. Okay. Has more exciting games on offer than this arcade. After you've reassured yourself that all machines in this place are not worth your time, you decide to focus on your mission again. But now, look for the girl again. You give search for Tabitha another go. Given the bad lighting in here, even if the girl was standing a mere 2 yards away from you, there's no way you would recognize her. After walking around the machines a couple times, you give up finding for her and leave the arcades. You leave the arcades on wobbly legs. After all the flashing colors, incessant beeping and shooting sounds, you welcome the dullness of the shopping street. Evening has already begun. Have you really wasted the whole afternoon here? It's unfortunate, but a good investigation knows when to admit defeat. After all, you were paid in advance. It's time to go to the hotel. Okay. Oh, yeah, I'm in Satan Suite, right? I'm in like 666 or whatever. Yeah. A gray veil covers the town. The light of the sun drains away, and with it any residual heat. Although Innsmouth is a boring coastal town and probably doesn't have any street gangs, you feel relieved when you see the gables of the Gilman Hotel. On your way here, you distinctly felt as if someone or something was following you. You could swear there were shadows. They were only visible for a fraction of a second whenever you entered the alley. Those fleeting shadows, they are still lurking somewhere in the dark. You can feel it in your gut. You'll soon be safe. The growing paranoia, the constant glances over your shoulder, soon you can forget about all of that. Grabbing a bottle of Jack is the only movement required once you enter your room. The parking lot in front of your hotel is completely empty. Have all the guests left? Does Innsmouth even have a peak tourist season? Fortunately, the entry gate is not locked. In fact, everything seems just as it did this afternoon when you left the hotel. Not a soul around. The chandeliers light your way into the foyer, and the creaking floorboards welcome you. As you enter the foyer, You can hardly believe your eyes. Who's waiting for you at the reception? None other than Cornelius Gilman III. And you could swear he is in the exact same pose in which you left him. He stands motionless at the reception desk. Just walk straight past him. I don't trust that guy for a second. You walk up the stairs to your floor. Then you stroll along the long corridor until you reach the fork with the deceptive mirror. You briefly consider your appearance. You look quite exhausted. Probably like anyone who spends their holidays in a town like Innsmouth. Are you imagining things, or do your eyes seem a little puffy today? All the more reason to go to your room. You venture deeper into the bizarre labyrinth of this hotel floor. You manage to find your room, and you only get lost once along the way. You quietly open the door and enter. Well, well, well. It is barely necessary to switch on the light. You walk towards one of the windows. You look out into the starry sky. A huge, strangely green, glowing moon illuminates your room like a spotlight. The whole room is plunged into surreal glow. Sorry, for some reason that just looked differently. Unfortunately, there are no window blinds to block out the light. Freshen up. Fresh armpits are what distinguish humans from animals. You enter the bathroom under the flickering ceiling lights, whose lamp has probably never been replaced. You brush your teeth. Freshen up quickly. You quickly brush your teeth and give yourself a quick wash. These away-from-home jobs, you realize how far away you are from your home, your dirty apartment, and your even dirtier office. Now that you are finally ready for bed, your body feels as heavy as lead. You stand in the middle of the room. A warm, stuffy air gives you a pleasantly tired feeling. You are safe here. There might be incestuous maniacs out there in the streets, but here you are safe from them. You drop on the bed like someone who has no intention of ever getting up again. You transition fluidly in your dreams. You've only just closed your eyes, and you're already somewhere else. Suddenly, your worries are very different. You're running in a desolate gray maze of winding alleys. You can hear the cheerful laughter of a small child. If only you could catch up, you could save the child and take them home to safety. You sprint down the path and tunnel, around the corner, then around another. The alley stretches out in front of you, but there's no person to be seen anywhere. What was that? Was that a shadow in the corner of the street back there? The silhouette of a figure? You realize that someone is following you. Look over your shoulder. You cast a hasty glance over your shoulder. Then you see them out of the corner of your eye, shadows, but they have repugnant bodies. You can't really put it any differently. Okay, you catch glimpses of oily skin, swollen boils, even tentacles. But nothing stays in one place. Everything seems to be constantly moving around. A body in metamorphosis. Patches of skin tear open and close again with awful smacking sounds. You briefly catch a glimpse of that thing that was following you silently. You know you've already seen more than you should have. That short glance was more than enough. No human being can stand looking at that creature without losing their mind. It's right behind you. The figure in the distance has already disappeared behind the next corner. Maybe you could still catch it. The alleys wind through the town in confusing ways. Nothing makes sense anymore. Wherever you move, you never arrive in the place you expected to. It feels as if, slowly but surely, you're walking right into the jaws of a massive monster. All of a sudden, the walls close in, and the path becomes so narrow that you have to walk sideways in order to fit through. Whatever's behind you is getting closer. There's not much time left. Squeeze through. You squeeze yourself further along the narrow pathway. The walls are now so close that they start to tug and scrape at your clothes. The backs of your hands start to burn because you keep scraping them on surprisingly sharp edges of the rough bricks. Carefully but swiftly, you walk along the alley. It almost seems to you as if the walls were built so that your body and your body alone can pass through it. A stencil, and you are the shape. Already the path had been dark and poorly lit, and you couldn't see more than a few meters ahead. But now, it seems as if the deepest, darkest night has fallen. Your fingertips continue to glide through the rough wall. Inch by inch, you work your way forward. Something is definitely not right here. The alley you wanted to cross is no longer an alley. The wall all but clings to your body. Every inch of the wall now presses against your body and clothes. But just as if this alley has been waiting for you. You are not. You alone to enter it. Although you can no longer move freely, you appear to be moving forward. Are you still dreaming? You keep going. By now you have forgotten why you started walking in the first place. The stone walls appear to be crawling onto your skin. Yet you feel sheltered and safe. It has always been your destiny to be here, in this place right now. Final destination, at last. You never wake up again. Well, that sucks. What? I died in my sleep? Well, fuck me. Well, alright. I suppose that's why we're going to end this one now. If you guys like it, let me know down in the comments below. I will try and get back to where I was and, start trying to figure the rest of it out. I'm glad to be getting all these different trophies, but yeah, I didn't think that this would happen like this. So, anyway, if you guys like it, let me know down in the comments below. If you guys have any other recommendations, suggestions, or anything else that you would want to see, let me know down there as well. Also, don't forget to leave a like on the video so I know that you guys are digging it. Also, it is October. Halloween is right around the corner. My favorite holiday of the year, the best month of the year, October. I'm going to be trying to playing more hard games and stuff like that, so we will see. We'll see. I do want to do something cool for Halloween, so if you guys have any ideas, let me know down in the comments. But if not, well, let's just go from here. Anyway, also don't forget to subscribe so we can build a community to do bigger and better things in the future, and as always, stay awesome, guys.